Have you ever been in the middle of a sentence, and suddenly your mind just goes blank? You were speaking confidently, the words were flowing, and then nothing. Silence. A pause that feels heavier than it should. You try to grab the thought, but it slips away like water through your fingers. And in that moment, you don't just forget what you were saying, you start wondering what's wrong with you. But what if I told you this isn't a flaw? What if forgetting mid-sentence is not a weakness, but a window into how your mind truly works? Think about it. You're telling a story to a friend. Halfway through, your phone buzzes. Just a quick glance. Just a tiny distraction. And suddenly, your entire train of thought disappears. You laugh it off. Wait, what was I saying? It seems small. Almost insignificant. But psychologically, something much deeper just happened. Your brain operates on something called working memory, a temporary mental space where thoughts are held and processed. It's fragile, limited, and constantly under pressure. When you forget what you were saying, it's often because this mental space got overloaded or interrupted. But here's the paradox. The same mind that can imagine the future, solve problems, and create ideas can also lose a simple sentence halfway through. Why? Because your brain is not designed for perfection. It's designed for survival. Every second, your mind is filtering thousands of thoughts, sensations, and stimuli. It decides, almost instantly, what matters and what doesn't. And sometimes, the sentence you were forming simply doesn't make the cut anymore. But that's just the surface. Let's go deeper. Sometimes forgetting isn't about distraction. It's about pressure. Have you noticed how this happens more when you're nervous? When people are watching you? When you care about what you're saying? You're in a meeting. All eyes on you. You start speaking. And suddenly your mind goes blank. In that moment, it's not memory that fails you. It's your mind protecting you. Your brain shifts from thinking mode to self-awareness mode. Instead of focusing on your thoughts, you start focusing on yourself. How do I sound? Am I making sense? Are they judging me? And just like that, your mental bandwidth collapses. It's a quiet battle between expression and perception, between who you are and how you're being seen. And here's something even more fascinating. Sometimes forgetting is emotional. Yes, emotional. There are thoughts your mind hesitates to complete, ideas that feel uncomfortable, truth that sit just below the surface. And right when you're about to say them, your brain pulls the plug. Not because you can't remember, but because some part of you isn't ready to say it out loud. Strange, isn't it? The mind protects you, even from your own thoughts. So the next time you forget what you were saying, pause for a second. Don't rush to fill the silence. Don't judge yourself. Instead, ask yourself, was I distracted or overwhelmed? Was I thinking or overthinking? Was I speaking or performing? Because sometimes the blank moment isn't emptiness. It's your mind quietly asking you to slow down. And maybe, just maybe, there's something deeper waiting behind that silence. Now think about this. What if those moments of forgetting aren't interruptions, but signals that your mind is tired, signals that your thoughts are racing faster than your awareness, signals that you are trying too hard to hold on to everything? When your brain was never meant to, we often assume that forgetting what we were saying means we're careless, distracted, or even less intelligent. But in reality, it can mean the opposite. It can mean your mind is busy, active, processing, constantly moving, and sometimes too full. Imagine your thoughts like a crowded room. Voices overlapping, ideas competing, emotions quietly sitting in corners. Now imagine trying to pick one clear sentence out of that noise and deliver it perfectly. Of course you pause. Of course you forget. Because your mind isn't empty. It's overloaded. And yet, we rarely see it that way. Instead, we laugh it off. Or worse, we feel embarrassed. But why do we feel embarrassed? Because in those moments, we feel exposed. Not because we forgot, but because we lost control. We like to believe we are in charge of our thoughts, that we can start, stop, and shape them at will. But forgetting reminds us of something uncomfortable. We are not always in control. And that realization, even for a second, can feel unsettling. But there's also something beautiful hidden in this. Forgetting forces you to be present. When your mind goes blank, you can't rely on rehearsed thoughts anymore. You can't hide behind perfectly structured sentences. You're left with yourself. Raw, unfiltered, real. And maybe that's why these moments feel so intense. Because they strip away performance and bring you closer to authenticity. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how, after forgetting what you were saying, you often restart in a simpler, more honest way? less polished, but more real. That's not failure. That's clarity finding its way through chaos. Because sometimes what you were about to say wasn't what truly needed to be said. And your mind knew that. So it paused you, not to embarrass you, but to redirect you. There's a quiet intelligence in that. A deeper rhythm. Your mind is not a machine that stores and retrieves perfectly. It's a living system, shaped by attention, emotion, pressure, and meaning. So when it forgets, it's not breaking. It's adjusting, and maybe the real question isn't, why do I forget what I was saying? Maybe the real question is, what is my mind trying to tell me in that moment? Is it asking for rest? For focus? For honesty? Or simply for a pause? Because in a world that constantly pushes you to speak faster, think quicker, and perform better, forgetting might be one of the few moments where your mind gently says, slow down. And maybe that's not something to fix. Maybe it's something to listen to.